Oh, Rockstar Games. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Back in my day, which is the late 90s and early 2000s, Rockstar used to cause a lot of controversy. Every game they released came with a little bit of controversy. I mean, hell, even during the PlayStation 1 generation when they released Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 in London, those games caused controversy if you could believe it. What I'm saying is, Rockstar Games used to be the titan of the industry. Did a lot for gaming just in general when it comes to the open world aspect. Look at Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories. What they did with Grand Theft Auto put them on the map. Sort of invented the genre of open world games. But now look at Rockstar Games. Rockstar Games seems like a corpse of its former self, relying on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Now the games are a bit more sanitized. Now they're not looking to make controversy. They took away things from the remake. I mean, hell, they're even looking to sanitize Grand Theft Auto 5. And then put San Andreas on Oculus Rift. And I just want to point this out for a second. The fact that Rockstar Games is collaborating with Metaverse is a little bit funny because I believe in GTA 5 they actually made fun of Mark Zuckerberg, if I'm not correct.
Now you can dock your Life Invader to an iPhone or any other device. And it'll take all the data off it and reformat it into Life Invader friendly information.
The Rockstar Games classic, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, is in development for Quest 2.
I think you all get the point by now. What I'm trying to say is Rockstar Games is a shell of its former self. Now, what I want to do here today is look back at the glory days of Rockstar Games from the PS2 generation. And we're not going to be looking at, the mainstream stuff like Grand Theft Autos. We're not going to be taking a look at that. You see, there's a lot of games that Rockstar has made that people just don't talk about anymore. Like, people never talk about Manhunt or Oni or Bully or the Midnight Club series. Nobody talks about those games, and that's essentially what I want to do here today. We're just going to be taking a look at some of Rockstar's forgotten games. And I'll give a quick and short summary and review of the game. And this is a bit of a pointless question, but we'll ask the question, would Rockstar Games remake or make this game today? But enough bullshit, this intro has gone on for long enough. Let's just get started. Alright, now Midnight Club 3, now this game is an absolute classic. It's basically a street racing game, but I would say a little bit different. It has a lot more customization compared to Need for Speed Underground, and I'll be honest, there's really not much of a story to it. You're just a random street racer walking into a garage, you take out a car and get going. Now, I will say this, it's not the most realistic street racing game out there, of course, as you can see by the gameplay, but it still keeps that same tone of racing cars, getting away from the cops, stuff like that. And one other thing that I want to mention about this game is difficulty. This game could be extremely frustrating, but rewarding. Now, one more thing that I would like to mention about this game is the soundtrack. This soundtrack is extremely nostalgic, at least to me. This game has a memorable soundtrack, and it's actually really diverse when it comes to genres of music. I mean, you got rock, hip-hop, techno. Of course, it's all licensed stuff. Now, some may say that the soundtrack ages this game by a lot because, it was released during the early 2000s, and I think this game released in 2004, if I'm not correct. What I'm saying is, even though the soundtrack may age this game by a lot, I would still give it a chance. Some may not want to do that, but still, I just recommend playing this game at all. Now, can Rockstar remake or redo this game today? I would say so, because there's a huge car community out there, and sure, we may have Forza, Car Club, the Need for Speed series, but there's none quite like the Midnight Club series. Need for Speed, sure, it's about street racing, but it's not, realistic enough. I mean, Forza is good, it's just, none of the games have really matched the tone that the Midnight Club series had. The only problem is that, Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of took over the Midnight Club series. There's a huge car community in GTA 5, and Rockstar Games could just make their own version of real-life cars. I still think it might be worth making another Midnight Club game, even though it's probably never gonna happen, to be quite honest. But at the end of the day, I would just still recommend playing any of the Midnight Club games. LA, Midnight Club 1, 2, any of them. They're all good. Okay, now this game is a bit of a weird one. This game is called Oni, and it was made by Rockstar Games and Bungie. Believe it or not, this game was actually made before Halo. This game was originally supposed to come out in 1989, but it sort of released in 2001, and of course when Halo got big, Rockstar Games took over late in development. Now, I'll admit this game is decent for the most part. It's sort of a weeb game. I know that sounds odd, but it's true. Now, this game is just basically it's a beat 'em up. Now, can Rockstar remake or redo this game? Probably not. As much as I like this game, Rockstar only sees dollar signs, and this isn't going to make them any money. So as good as this game might be, I don't expect to hear anything about it anytime soon. So If this game looks interesting to you, of course, go play it on emulation. Or buy an old PS2 and buy the real thing. Your choice. Manhunt. Now, this is truly a Rockstar Games hidden gem. Nobody talks about this game anymore, and to an extent, I understand why, because of how gruesome it is, but this game deserves a lot more representation. Now, one thing about Manhunt is that it's extremely gruesome. Like a lot of people think GTA is violent. Well, this is a lot more violent. In fact, I think this game is a lot more darker than Grand Theft Auto. Now, let's just explain the story a little bit. You play as James Earl Cash, and you get sentenced to death row, but of course, you don't die. You're actually saved by this dude named Starkweather, who's a millionaire movie director. But here's the caveat: you kill people in this game for Starkweather's snuff film. And I like this game. I feel like it has a lot of charm that the Grand Theft Auto games just don't have. Take San Andreas, you start off as a gangster, but by the end of the game you're flying jets and things like that. Or Vice City, you go from rags to riches. Grand Theft Auto 3, you get killed by your girlfriend, The Grand Theft Auto games just have basic storylines. I'm not saying that this doesn't, but this story just has a bit more realism. This story has a little bit of grittiness to it. Of course, when this game came out, it caused a lot of controversy. A lot more than your average Grand Theft Auto game. One of the things that makes this game controversial is the star rating at the end of each level. You get 5 stars for the most gruesome kills. And you get the most gruesome kills by standing behind the target, waiting until the arrows go red, and then you just kill them. As you can see by the gameplay. My apologies if I didn't give a warning. Now, this game back in the day was associated with a murder case, and of course a dark game where you kill people for fun involved in a murder case in real life. The media pounced on it, but the thing is, it was the victim's copy, it wasn't the murderer's copy. But we seem to be going off the rails. The game is good. Pick it up. It's on PS4. If you want to buy a real copy, I'd recommend that because of legitimate hardware and stuff like that. But I would recommend to play this game, but obviously if you're sensitive and you don't like blood and gore, then obviously don't play it. Now the question is, would Rockstar Games make this game today? Obviously not. With today's climate and everything going on, Rockstar Games are there right now. They wouldn't dare to make a Manhunt 3. And that's sad because I feel like at the moment we need games like Manhunt. But hey, that's enough about Manhunt. Let's move on to another game. Alright, Bully. Now this one is another great Rockstar Games classic that isn't brought up enough in modern day gaming. Now, a lot of people say that this is Grand Theft Auto but in school, or it's Grand Theft Auto for children and this and that. To some degree they are correct, but Bully is a lot more than that. Like, yeah, sure, you could cause chaos on school campus and do your regular Grand Theft Auto thing, but the game is just a lot more than that. Now, just to give you a quick synopsis on the story, you play as Jimmy Hopkins. You go to this boarding school where your parents go on vacation, and of course, throughout the story, you go to that school, you rise up to the top, similar to Grand Theft Auto Vice City, just in school. Now, obviously, there's a lot more detail in the story than that, but Rockstar really needs to redo this game. Like, there's a full-on Bully 2 community. I mean, look at Swag, to look at Nathan and Ness. Like, there's a big Bully community out there. People want Bully 2. People have been saying for years they want Bully 2. But unfortunately, with Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online, that's probably not going to happen. But either way, that's enough about Bully. Let's just move on to hold on, my phone seems to be ringing. Oh shit, him? Yeah, okay, alright. Yeah, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
America! Oh wait, this is the wrong show. This is the Nostalgia 64 hour. So hey guys, Nostalgia asked me to just kind of talk off the cuff a little bit about Rockstar Games. Now, and sort of my favorite forgotten gem. Now, I didn't play a ton of, like, every single Rockstar game back in the day. Well, my kitty might come and interrupt me here. But I think the most obscure Rockstar title that I really enjoyed that most people don't talk about anymore is Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, or possibly Grand Theft Auto Advance. Both of which are just great entries into the franchise that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Liberty City Stories, I honestly hear more about. I think it was actually more popular on the PSP just because it came out first. And when Vice City Stories came out, it just didn't get much fanfare, despite the fact that Phil Collins is literally in the game. But that game is great. I mean, I love Vice City. I love the whole Scarface, Florida, Miami aesthetic. So, plus, I mean, Victor Vance is a great character, even if he was kind of retconned from his original, characterization in Vice City. And seeing more Lance Vance is just always a good thing. There's no bad time to get more of the Lance Vance dance. So Vice City Stories is great. And GTA Advance, while all kind of weird, honestly, it's a bit strange as a GTA title, it's still a lot of fun. And I remember, because I played it for the first time when I did my episodes for GTA Biographies. I had never played it before, and when I was doing my research, I realized, it was considered canon in the 3D universe. So I was like, well, I got to include it. So I went and played it for the first time, and I actually had a lot of fun playing it. Now, you kind of got to cheese it. You pretty much have to just use the flamethrower, in my experience. The flamethrower is the only good weapon if you play GTA Advance. But, the story is no masterpiece, but it's fun enough, and it never really got boring. See, I always had a problem, or at least a little bit of a problem. I know Nostalgia won't like this, but I don't enjoy too much of the GTA 1 and 2 era, simply because the controls are so foreign to me. Whereas GTA Advance has a much more, understandable control scheme that makes sense to me, and it doesn't use this sort of weird, acceleration, basically tank controls when you're on foot, which is very strange. You have to essentially accelerate your pedestrian in GTA 1, 2, and the London packs. But GTA Advance is very much like a GTA 1 and 2 era game, but within the 3D universe, and with advanced, Game Boy Advance, but controls. So GTA Advance and Vice City Stories, I think, would be my picks. And thank you for having me on Nostalgia, and I will see you guys next time.
Alright, now I mostly wanted Guinness Walker to be on here because, well, he does Grand Theft Auto biographies and geographies. He basically covers the cities and the protagonists and villains of the Grand Theft Auto series sort of in depth. So hey, link will be in the description, go check him out. Tell him I sent you. But one last thing I want to talk about is the Warriors. Now, this game doesn't get talked about at all. And to be honest, I plan on leaving some of my thoughts on this game out of this video since I plan on putting out a review on this game eventually, but enough of that. The Warriors. Now, this is a classic movie. If you haven't seen this movie yet, go see it. It's on Netflix. I believe it's on Hulu. It's on Amazon. Go check it out. Now, what Rockstar did, it basically made a prequel to the movie. This game takes place way before the movie. It goes in depth on the characters in the movie. You play as all of the warriors. You get little bonuses. This game is just great. Now, I partially understand why people don't really talk about this movie because, the Warriors came out in 1979. It's kind of a boomer movie, so I kind of get that. But the game alone is great. Now, can Rockstar redo this? Obviously not, since they don't have the license to the Warriors anymore. But if they were to cover movies again, what movie would you see Rockstars doing again? Maybe Scarface, I don't know, Juice, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, I don't know. But I can see Rockstar doing a lot more movie tie-in games that are actually good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I understand it's been a very long video, and a shout out to you if you're still here. You're the fucking champ for that. No, rambled on a bit, my apologies, but I'm just passionate about this stuff. Rockstar Games has just went downhill within the past 10 years or so. The majority of Rockstar Games' library is just forgotten. It's just, Grand Theft Auto this, Red Dead Redemption that, and granted, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like a whole majority of Rockstar's library has just not been talked about. And I just wanted to shine a light on a few games, especially Oni. That barely ever gets talked about. But anyway, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, no rush, and tell me down below. Like I said, what movie would you like Rockstar Games to cover? I don't know, I'm having trouble thinking of some ideas. Just tell me down in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Pineapple pizza.